Hey, Millionaire University family. As a mom and entrepreneur, I know firsthand the struggle of juggling business goals and personal health. Let's be real. How many times have you grabbed fast food or skipped meals because you're too busy chasing that next big idea? If you're someone who values both time and health, Factor is a game changer. Gourmet, nutritionist-approved meals ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess, and absolutely no guilt. Factor isn't just another meal service. With options like Keto, Protein Plus, and Calorie Smart, you're fueling your body for peak performance. Sacrificing health for success is a false economy. Time is money, but health is wealth. With Factor, you're not just saving time, you're optimizing it. Want to join in on this game-changing approach to nutrition? Head to factormeals.com/MU50 and use code MU50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code MU50 at factormeals.com/MU50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
Your teen requested a ride, but this time not from you. It's through their Uber teen account. You drive your teenager around, a lot, to their friend Jacob's house, their other friend Jake's house, to James's, to Jaden's, to Jalen's, to...
Mom? This is Jake's house, not Jacob's.
Now with an Uber teen account, your teen can request a ride under your supervision. They'll ride with a highly rated driver, and with live trip tracking, you'll follow along the whole ride to their friends' houses that all sound the same. Add your teen to your Uber account today. See app for details.
Bye, Mom.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Community doesn't come first. Customers actually come first. The customers are what create the community. They're the ones investing, taking action, sharing.
Welcome to the Millionaire University podcast. I'm your host, Brian Guerin, back in the saddle with you today. And on this edition of the Millionaire University podcast, I am joined by the lovely Liz Wilcox. She is an email marketing expert turned email marketing membership owner who rakes in over, guys, get this, $500K a year with a $9 per month membership, teaching others how to use email to grow their business. It's awesome. It's incredible. Liz, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yes, it is possible to make quite a bit of cash from a low ticket offer. I can't wait to talk about it today.
Yeah, me too. We're going to hop right in. And as I told you before we hit the record button, I got a marketing background and I can nerd out on this stuff all day, especially email, because that's a huge part of what we do at my company. So forgive me if I'm going to bubble over with joy today, but I want to get started with your origin story. What was the impetus to starting your membership group? I mean, my understanding is you used to do a lot of client work, high-end client work. What led to switching from that into the membership?
Yeah. So first, what y'all have to understand about me is I actually started off as a blogger, a travel blogger. So I used to travel around in my RV, and I started with so little resources. Like, I didn't even have internet on my cell phone when I started my business, but I had this idea. I knew they can do it. Certainly, I could at least do it 20%. Like, I don't need $1 million. I could go for $200K, right? And so I started as this travel blogger, limited resources, limited time. I had a toddler at the time. I had a spouse that thought I was, in a scam, right? He was like, that's not a real thing, Liz. And so fast forward, that business took off. I ended up selling that business and I went all in with email marketing. And I was doing, like Brian said, I was doing this high-end client work and it was great, right? I remember sitting down at my computer to write my newsletter because, of course, I'm growing my email list at the same time I'm taking client work. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Mm-hmm. And I just realized that, I had signed these big deals. I think that month I had signed $20,000 in contracts between two companies. And I thought, oh my gosh, coming from where I come from, I lived in a 1-bedroom trailer when I was in high school with 7 people. Like $20,000? Are you freaking kidding me? But then I went to write my newsletter that day and I just remember being that young business owner without a lot of money, without a lot of support, with people who needed me and had real needs that cost real money, where the business at the time was a pipe dream. It really was. And I knew that those people were on my email list, those people that were just starting out. Maybe they were stuck in their 9 to 5, or they were trying to start something kind of like I was at that beginning stage. And I thought, they're going to take years to be able to hire me. But I know I have valuable skills that have changed my life, that have gotten me out of poverty. Like, who am I to hold on to that skill set? And why should I wait for them to go through the trenches in order to help them? I can help them right now. And that was the inception of Email Marketing Membership, my $9 a month membership, where I said, you know what? I just want you to trust me for 5 seconds. Send out this one email. I can write the emails for you. You don't have to give me $10,000, $20,000. I can build you a template and give me $9. Let's see how it goes. And that was February 2016. Now I'm talking to you and Brian, and the membership is well over, I think we've got about 4,000 people at the time of this recording. And my goal is to hit 10,000 in the next couple of years.
Wow, that is incredibly impressive. And I love that idea of, I've got this skill, I've got this ability. Who's to say I can't go teach others how to harness this for themselves and help them do that and do it all through this membership? I think I love that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for me, the last thing I'll say about that, to Brian's point of like, why can't I teach them now? Another thing about my background is I have a degree in education. I have a master's degree in leadership. I know how to teach. And I've bought programs with email marketing and marketing before. And some of us, and this is no shade, but it's clear when someone doesn't understand how to design a curriculum. And that's something I literally went to school to do. So I said, you know what? They might not be able to teach someone until they have a few years under their belt. But certainly I can. Simplicity is my superpower. I'm just going to do it right now.
So one question that's coming to mind, you mentioned that you had sold some work valued at $20,000. Like, that's crushing it, especially as an email copywriter. That's awesome, right? What about landing that money made you be like, I want to go start a membership for $9? Like, why did you want to leave client work?
One word, responsibility. Y'all, I have a lot of responsibility in my personal life. I support 3 households. At the time, I was recently divorced, a new single mom in a new town, and I had a lot of pressure on me to not only support me and my immediate family, but my surrounding family as well. I've been supporting members of my family since I was 16 years old. And the $20,000, you do the math. Okay, that's going to support me, my mom, my sister, my child, etc. for, let's say, I think it was about 3.5, almost 4 months of like, plus the business that you have to support because you have costs. That would last 3 to 4 months. And that, of course, that's an elation, right? Like, oh, okay, we're safe for the next 90, 100 days. But then you think, okay, well, what happens in 100 days, Liz? You're going to have to do this all over again. It took you years to be able to find these clients, right? To be able to say like, yep, here's that $10,000, $20,000 contract, right? And the pressure of it, the responsibility. Now I have to deliver on $20,000 worth of work. That for me at that time, and still to this day, because I don't take clients anymore, like that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of responsibility. And if I'm already, when I turn my computer off, because y'all, right now we're recording this, I just bought a new house, so I'm in my bedroom right now. When I turn off the computer, when Brian, you and I say goodbye, I've got responsibilities. I got to go pick up my kid from school. I've got to take her to theater practice. I've got to go grocery shopping tonight. I have to make sure she unloads the dishes, right? We all have responsibilities when we turn off the computer. So what am I doing in my business adding to that mental load? Like my mental load is at capacity, especially at that time of creating the membership. So I thought to myself, Liz, what can you do to ensure that in the next couple years, because it's $9, it's not going to make you rich immediately, right? But what can I do for the next couple of years to ensure that I don't have to burden myself with someone else's responsibility for the rest of my life? That's not how I want to make money. And I thought, just like Brian asked, that $9 membership, I was like, well, I can write templates. I've written thousands of newsletters over the last 5 years. I can templatize these. And I thought, well, what about the price? And for me, again, thinking back to that newbie that maybe doesn't have a lot of money, or maybe every dollar feels like you feel when you spend it, if that makes sense. So I thought the $9 is good. Plus, I'm not Netflix, Costco, those giant corporations that need millions and billions of dollars. I'm just Liz with my kid and my family. Like, maybe I need $1 million one day, but I could wait a couple of years to get it. And so maybe I get those 10,000 members that I was talking about with Brian earlier. Like, maybe I could wait for that. That's a $1.2 million membership. If I could do that for 10 years, find that, I could wait 10 years for that 1.2 because it's so little responsibility. I send you the template. Anything beyond that for that price tag is just sugar on top. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So let's talk about that membership. For that $9, what do members get?
You actually get more than the template. So when in the first iteration of it, it was just, hey, I'm going to send you a template every Monday morning. I'm going to do a live Q&A, and that's pretty much it. $9. Even my very first email about it was, the subject line was, can I have $9? It's still my best performing email, best open rate, best click rate I've ever got. I feel like Eminem with Without Me. I don't know if I'm going to top it. And nowadays you get more. Like, it used to be in a Google Drive, and I would literally just send you the link. So if you're thinking of starting a membership, low tech, baby, until it's a proven offer. So then around 1,000 members, about a year later, it went behind a paywall, right? So I built my website with a couple plugins, and now it's once a week templates. You get the Q&A once a month. That's my favorite. It's 90 minutes, but really sometimes I go like as long as we need to go. You also get guest experts. So I do at least once a quarter. Somebody comes in and talks about their expertise. I think we've got somebody coming in to talk about Canva. We had somebody the other day, like a bookkeeper in there. And also little bonuses, like I do a list building challenge. I add certain sequences sometimes, like there's a sales sequence in there, a pre-launch sequence. So I like to sprinkle in some fun stuff every now and then.
So who is your membership for? Is it for small business owners? Is it for email marketers? Does it matter?
It's a lot, kind of like this podcast, a lot of different people. I thought it would just be this for content creators trying to actually make money on the internet, right? How do we get this Instagram following off of Instagram and onto the email list? But I actually have so many different types. I have the business to consumer types. I have business to business. I have email marketers. I have people who have agencies, and they all come in at that $9 price tag. Y'all, I like to keep things simple. A lot of people say, oh, well, you should charge agencies an agency price because they're using it with their clients. And I'm like, yeah, but then I'd have to set up some other cart and sales page and keep track of that. I just want everything under one roof, again, for that responsibility. So the membership really, the way the templates work, I give lots of examples. Remember, I said I'm a teacher, right? So I give examples. I give you a video walkthrough. I give you different template models. Like, this is written from the perspective of a podiatrist. This is written from the perspective of someone who sells baseball bats, right? So it's really for a lot of different people, whether you sell in person, online, whether you consider yourself like a seasoned pro or someone brand new. The membership really hosts over 100 templates for any and every objective you have.
Okay, so even if you're, say, like a small, like service type of business, whether home services or, I don't know, I work a lot with bars and breweries and home services. That's my niche. That's why I'm curious. Do you have templates that are, because it's easy to keep a template the same way over and over again, but being in the membership, you get multiple different types of templates. Is that something where you recommend people change it up? Are they more text-based, or do you, I imagine they're text-based, not HTML-based, but what does that look like for you?
Yeah. So when you log in, they are text-based. And of course, you can put them into your service provider, however your email looks. I'm not worried about the aesthetic. That's something your brand designer can work on. This is very content-based. But I love working with service providers and local businesses because oh my gosh, give me any local business or service provider like Brian is talking about, because just a few simple tweaks and you're golden. Like, how easy is it to differentiate yourself as the local tapas place or a bar or whatever? If you even just sent out an email twice a month in the first place, right? So within my membership, what I teach is showing that you're invested and becoming relatable. Those are the two things within your email and all marketing really that are going to grab that customer's attention and bring them into your store or have them shop online, whatever you're doing with your emails. And the templates themselves show you how to do that. They do the marketing for you, basically. They're very plug and play. So it's, hey, today we're going to show we're invested simply by sharing this piece of content or sharing that we have a sale and why we're hosting it, right? I think there's a template in there it's like a just because sale. And it's what shows you're more invested in your customer than sending them a coupon for no good reason or whatever, right? So I love working with those local and service-based businesses because they have so much to gain with the least amount of weight behind it.
Right, exactly. And it's one of those things that can instantly differentiate yourself from the competition because, at least in my experience, there are so few businesses who either A, do it at all, or B, they might do it, but it's extremely inconsistent and it has no purpose, right? It's not serving any sort of purpose. It's kind of one of those things where the owner checked it off the box and, oh, we forgot the last 2 months, but I did it today. So it makes a big difference in the ability for, especially on the hospitality side, if you're trying to build community, having that email newsletter is a great way to stay in front of your VIPs, the people who have bought from you. They probably know, like, and trust you. And now you're going through the trouble of keeping in contact with them. That separates you. And they're coming back.
Yes, definitely. I am I love signing up for email lists, obviously. And I've mentioned him before, but I'm a huge fan of M&M, Marshall Mathers. I'm from Detroit. You just got to be a fan if you're from Michigan, I feel like. And
I'm a huge fan of his, and I'm from Ohio, so.
Oh, that's big. So he emails, I would say 2-3 times a week. And of course, it's not him, right? It's his people. But what is he selling? He's almost always just selling his merchandise or his collaborations. But I feel more connected. I listen to him more. I follow him on socials. I feel part of this community of, I guess you call them stans. Now that's just a word in the vernacular, right?
I recently learned that one too.
I feel, to Brian's point, like part of the community because his team is literally always checking in with me. And it's different than social media, right? Because on social media, maybe I'm following Marshall Mathers and maybe I'm following 1,000 other people, right? It's easy to click the follow button. But to sign up for an email list, it takes a little more effort. It takes a little more consent, like actual thinking about it, consent, right? I have to put in my name. I have to put in my address. And the inbox is just a more intimate space where it's like, oh, yeah, I did sign up for that versus why am I seeing the same video for the third time? Or maybe I'm scrolling and I missed that M&M's team posted something because I saw Millionaire University has a new clip and I just scrolled right past, right? Email is just, again, especially in the hospitality industry, you've got to build that community. The competition out there is fierce. And if you can just turn those followers into feeling like they have a friendship, they have a connection with you, oh my gosh, they're coming through your doors 9 times out of 10.
Let's talk real estate, Millionaire University. We all know the mantra, buy low, sell high. Sounds simple, right? But timing the market is not always easy. Here's where things get a little interesting. Fundrise, our sponsor, sees the current high interest rate environment as an opportunity. Their flagship fund is gearing up to expand its billion-dollar real estate portfolio. Now, I'm not a real estate guru, but I know a potentially smart move when I see one. Fundrise is making it possible for you to add their flagship fund to your portfolio with as little as $10. Want to explore this potential wealth building avenue? Visit fundrise.com/MU. That's FUNDRISE.com/MU. Diversification is key. Adding real estate to your portfolio could be a step towards that millionaire-minded approach we're always talking about. Remember, every millionaire journey starts with informed decisions. Do your research and see if Fundrise aligns with your wealth building strategy. Carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Fundrise flagship fund before investing. This and other information can be found in the fund's prospectus at fundrise.com/flagship. This is a paid advertisement.
So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I going to go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to Kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
Yeah, and I tell people, I tell my clients or prospects that your inbox is, or your people's inboxes, it's their digital sanctuary. And when they let you in there, you now have that opportunity to be one-on-one with them with every email you send. There's no news feed involved. They're not getting distracted by something else, some other pretty picture. They're not getting interrupted between reading your email to them. So it makes it vitally important that you're there and that you're there consistently and that you're providing value.
Yes, I love that. And remember, Brian said the word consistent like 3-4 times. So I know you're driving or doing the dishes or something, so you can't write it down, but like commit that to memory. And it's not even about emailing daily or once a week. Like, what is your consistent right now? And commit to that. If it's just once a month right now on the 15th, then maybe in a few months it's on the 1st and the 15th, right? But really, remember I mentioned about becoming relatable and showing that you're invested, staying top of mind, that consistency piece, right, becomes a lot easier when your customer finds you relatable or finds your brand relatable, when they know you are invested in them, right? And something that I teach and have inside the templates and the membership, and I think especially for hospitality, local-based businesses, things like that, this is the missing piece of the puzzle for you. Just share a personal update. And maybe your brand doesn't, maybe you're not the face of your brand the way Liz Wilcox from LizWilcox.com, right? But sharing something that's going on behind the scenes of the business. Oh, Carl just got a promotion. Jenny just joined our team. We got new chairs. Come check them out. Something that has happened in the business, or if you want to get personal, that's great. But something that's happened since the last time you emailed them. Again, we got new chairs. We replaced the bar. Oscar and Vincent join the team, right? Those are little personal updates, especially, I hate to say it, but in this economy, people want to buy from people they trust. And so if you can, again, distinguish yourself from the bar downtown by putting names and faces and little tidbits. Brian got the biggest tip anyone's ever gotten at the bar this week. Like, it was insane. And even a picture of like something he bought for himself. Here's the new rims he got or whatever. Like, that is so invaluable. That shows just how incredibly relatable you, your business, the people behind your business are. And again, that's going to help you stay top of mind, which is going to make you more excited to be consistent, like Brian says you need to be.
Exactly. I'm glad we went down that rabbit hole. I was designing this to happen that way. But I think it's vitally important that everybody hear how important email newsletter marketing is, because it is, and because it does all the things that we just mentioned. But I want to zoom back out and keep talking about the memberships. So, and as it relates to having built your list, you mentioned while you were doing client work that you had a list of 800 people who were following or on your list at the time. How did you start building that list? Because I'm sitting here thinking in my own mind, or in the mind of one of our listeners, I might want to start a membership. How do I go start building this list? What did you do from day one to start getting people onto your list?
Yeah, so list building and visibility, in my mind, they go hand in hand. So I'm a 90s chick. So you guys remember like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, Tia and Tamara, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure, they're different people, but I can't tell them apart. That's the same with list building and visibility. So the more visible you can get your business or yourself, the more your list is going to grow. And so when I was first starting my list, and still to this day, I do a lot of podcasts. That's how I get visible in my business, right? So what would make sense for you to get visible? How is it doing collaborations among your community or online, some kind of networking? Hey, you share my thing, I'm going to share yours. I went and I ate at Ruby Tuesdays a few days ago because they were doing a collaboration with a nonprofit in the local community. We give 25% of your ticket to this nonprofit that I'm already donating to. I never would have gone to Ruby Tuesdays. I mean, sure, the salad bar is good, but it's way on the other side of town. I don't even see it. But again, like it's that visibility, right? And now my daughter is like, oh my gosh, they have a salad bar. We should come here more often. So it's the same with your list building, doing collaborations, finding people to network with. I do a lot of podcasts, online summits, swapping among people. Like Brian shares my thing, I'm going to share his. But really, it's that visibility piece. Again, the more visible your business can become, the more you're going to grow the list.
Makes too much sense, doesn't it?
It sure does.
So you started building your list, and you said hint, hint, wink, wink at the beginning, list growth. Always be working on growing your list. You never know when you're going to need it or want it or choose to sell to it. So let's talk about when you first decided. We talked about when you decided to start the membership, but when it came time to actually kick it off and tell people about it, I imagine was the first thing you did. Did you tell your list? How did that go?
Yeah. So the day I thought of the membership was the day I sold the membership.
Wow.
I have a bias for action, and so should you. You should really work on that muscle. The more you think about things, the more you can talk yourself out of them, I feel like, especially as entrepreneurs, because we have so many ideas. So just execute on one. But yes, I emailed them. That was the very first thing I did. If you look at my social media, you can Google me, like you can look at my Instagram and you'll see I post maybe once every few months. It's not where I'm spending my time because I know email marketing has a much higher return on investment. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of time to waste, right? And so, of course, I just emailed my list and I told them, I even said, hey, this is a new idea. And I even said, I don't have anything made yet, but can I have $9? If you give me $9 tomorrow, I'm going to write the template. You'll get it first thing in the morning. And I said, you're not going to get it right away because I have to go get my kid off the school bus. So I'm sending this like last minute right before I chicken out, basically. So yeah, when you're thinking of coming up with a membership model or something, growing your list and talking to your list as you create the offer. I see that. I'm sure, Brian, you see this a lot too, of like they are launching something, but they're doing everything except telling anyone, right? It's like, oh, it's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. Well, look at the way they make a movie. They show all the behind the scenes. They show, oh, this is coming. This just signed the contract, right? Before they even have the actors. They have press releases. Sharing that behind the scenes stuff can really help build the momentum and get your email list invested in the offer, in the product, before it's even released.
I had a mentor years ago who basically said, if you're building something, or if you're thinking about building something, go pre-sell it. Go tell people that you're doing it. Go even as far as collecting money for it. So now you have market proof that somebody wants it, and B, you have the cash to go fund it if needed. And now you just got to go do the thing.
Amen. And especially as entrepreneurs or people, maybe you've got a 9-to-5 and it's like, oh, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this. Getting that cash, nothing gets your butt in the chair faster than, oh my gosh, this guy just paid me. Now I got to figure this out, right? Even if it's just a deposit. For me, it was just the $9, right? So I was like, I think I made 30 sales that first day. I was like, oh crap. let me go in the archives and see what this first one is going to be. And it wasn't exactly pre-selling because I started to create it, but I told my audience, I want to get 100 people in this membership in the first 30 days. Then I'm going to continue doing it. I'll know that you guys want it. And 100 out of 800, that was quite a bit, but I just knew in my bones this was what I wanted to do. And so guess what? I got those 100 people. I just kept selling to that list. Hey, we've got 30 people. Hey, we have 50 people. Hey, I'm halfway to my goal. Hey, did you check this out yet? Hey, I can cancel this if you hate it. Just come check it out over here. Just building up that excitement. Like Brian said, that mentor was telling him, making sure it's validated and then knowing like, okay, I'm going to put in the work. This is worth it. Oh my gosh, the way it eases the anxiety and also somehow motivates you, 10 out of 10.
So when you first launched it, did you have, in terms of content, did you have like a backlog, all your client work in the past? Did you have a backlog of templates that you just maybe need a little bit of tailoring in order to send out? Because it was a once weekly template that you were sending out. That was the membership originally, right?
Yes. And that still is the basis of it. I had a backlog of emails that I had sent out from I owned 2 businesses before this that were very business to consumer, like in the RV travel industry. So I was able to look at those or even remember my favorites or remember those best performing. Oh, where is that one? And how can I templatize this? Or what was the essence of this email? Why did it work? And templatize it, explain it out, and hit send.
Okay, that keeps it easy. So keeping on the trail of thought with content, I think a very common question, I've asked this of myself many times until I got better at it with my own list and my client work, but how do you keep coming up with ideas for content?
I don't know. How does anyone keep coming up with ideas on what to say to their spouse they've been married to for 20 years? Like, yeah. I don't think there's ever, I don't really believe in writer's block, right? The same way there's I have talker's block today. I'll stay at home. For me, it's just remembering those principles of how can I show people I'm invested? How can I become relatable? And what do I need to share with them today? Right? What's the message I have for them today? Right? How do I need to connect? And even looking at your objectives. If you've got a sale coming up for Black Friday and it's September, okay, well, what do I need to tell them today so that come November, they buy, right? And so even looking at your calendar, looking at the objectives you have for your email marketing, remembering to share that you're invested in your customer, share those personal updates, that all of that like keeps the momentum, keeps you coming back and keeps them reading.
Keep it simple, right? I had a different friend of mine in the email game who writes an email almost every day. And he said, just don't look at it as building content. Don't look at it as creating content. Look at it as I'm going to sit down and tell people what I'm doing today or what did I learn today? Here are the things in my business that happened, right? And then just share, document and share. And that was one of the big eye-openers for me in terms of, I'm not sitting here creating content. No one's going to care about the content I create, but they might care about what I'm working on today because it might be relatable to them. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah, I said something one time like, I'm not a content creator. And someone looked at me and they were like, you literally have a content membership. And I was like, well, that's not, okay, it's content if you were being technical, but like, that's just me talking to my audience, right? Or helping my audience talk to their audience, right? Like it's not content in the same way this podcast is, or, when Brian posted on social media, like it's so different. Yeah, you're documenting, you're sharing. These people consented to hear from you. And so you're just following up on that, right? I love that so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So inside the membership, when you started, you didn't have like a community aspect. Was that part of the plan? Was that something that just developed? What does that look like today? And what were your original thoughts on it versus what they are today?
Yeah. So again, it's $9. Like I give you the template and you're so excited that you're only paying $9 for all this information. So community wasn't really ever a part of it. But I will say, if you're thinking of starting a membership, as your membership grows, it would behoove you to have some sort of community, right? Community is the glue that holds us all together. And if your brand or your business can have a community around it, wow, like now you're really cooking, right? And so it wasn't until I had 1,000 members, which took about a year. I think we hit 1,000 members like 2 days after our first birthday. I said, okay, I'm going to open up a Facebook group. I think these people need to talk to each other for their sake and for mine. Of course, 1,000 people, you think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of customer service, Liz. $9? Like, are you really? Like, is that really the life you want to live? You talked about responsibility. And so opening up that community, allowing them to talk to each other, to have that sort of hive mind. And now I think the Facebook group has like 5,000 people in it. And I'm in there maybe once a week. And honestly, I wasn't in there at all this summer. I took the whole summer off. But having that community, it was never like baked into the plan. But once I was getting a lot of emails, people were asking for it. Hey, is there a way I can ask the group? Things like that. Especially I was doing the once a month Q&As and I found, oh, this is my favorite thing. I love seeing these people interact and have their own, like, oh, that was such a better answer than I gave in the chat. Like, let's give this person a mic. So having that community, no, it definitely wasn't like part of the plan. But as the membership grew, I could see such value behind the community. So we opened one up.
Earning your degree online doesn't mean you have to go about it alone. At Capella University, we're here to support you when you're ready. From enrollment counselors who get to know you and your goals, to academic coaches who can help you form a plan to stay on track. We care about your success and are dedicated to helping you pursue your goals. Going back to school is a big step, but having support at every step of your academic journey can make a big difference. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I like that. Did it happen because you had a lot of members who were asking you for it? Or was it more of like, I'm just getting the feel that I've got these 1,000 people and they need to talk to one another? Or were people emailing you left and right saying, hey, I want to talk more?
Yeah, there were some people asking, but it wasn't an overwhelming majority, right? They were asking, hey, is there a Facebook group for this? And, then as the cool kids, when the Gen Zers would say, like, it was just a vibe, right? It was just, hey, I think I should, I tried a Facebook group before I had a community, before I had customers, and it was dead. And I realized, and maybe you as a business owner, you've realized this too, like, community doesn't come first. Like, customers actually come first. The customers are what create the community. They're the ones investing, taking action, sharing. So I was like, wow, now I have 1,000 customers. There's a community here and I'm giving them no place to go. And so hence the Facebook came along.
Well, and I imagine that a lot of people might think that the community needs to come first because naturally there's going to be a million questions or someone's going to buy my product and be like, how do I do this? I want ongoing coaching, yada, yada. But for you, it was pretty simple. You get these templates, you go implement, right? So I'm guessing you didn't have a lot of quote unquote customer service needs that would have required that community right off the rip.
Yeah, let's unpack that. So many people, especially if you're in the high ticket industry, I guess you could say, oh, I could never do that because those customers, they always suck. They want everything. You're going to have 1,000,001 emails. Let me tell you something. When you give someone a deal and they recognize you're giving them a deal, my oh my, are those the best customers you could ever have? And so it wasn't a lot of, oh my gosh, Liz, I wish. It was, I can't believe this is $9. I can't believe you're giving us this community now. Like now you're moderating a Facebook group and you didn't raise the price. This is great. And if I do have those customers that, oh, well, why is it this way? Because y'all, remember, I didn't even have a website when I launched it for the membership. It was just in a Google Drive. And so eventually people are like, yeah, it's getting no complaints, but it was, here's some feedback. It's getting kind of hard now that we have 50 templates to kind of organize this. And then I would upgrade. So anytime I listen to feedback. So I guess the whole point of that is, I guess perception is reality. If you perceive that those customers are going to be really needy, maybe they will be. But for me, I've always been able to bring it back to the price tag and the value. And that's something that delights me. It delights me to offer this for $9 to so many people. And so if and when I do get a customer that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't have, or I wish this, I say, oh my gosh, I totally agree. And I wish I could offer that too. And I'm actively working on a solution while maintaining the $9 price tag. And people 9 times out of 10 come back, oh my gosh, I know this is the best money I spend in my business. Don't think I was telling you to change anything. And just kind of brings it back. So when you speaking of like memberships, when you price with a purpose, because I have a purpose, I want the maximum amount of people in on email marketing because it changed my life and I want it to change yours too. When you're firmly rooted in that purpose, tied in with your price, your customers will totally get it. They will be happy. They will be creating that community Brian and I have talked about, and the membership will grow and grow and grow.
Well, and this thing could be, I mean, sure, it could be well worth or well valued over $100 a month type of membership. But if people are feeling the value, they're going to stick around, right? And if if it's maybe not their main focus, but they know they have this available to them and maybe they only use it once a week the way they're supposed to, and that's it, that's great. They might not even be in the community, but they're getting their value and they're far less likely to leave when the cost is $9 as opposed to $109 or $209 or $609, right? So that leads into my next question. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you have some knowledge it looks like you want to share on that one.
I was going to say, yeah, my churn rate as far as industry standards goes, of course, the larger I grow and the more cold leads that come in, the higher the churn rate, but it's still relatively low. I think it's always under 10% when I'm on it and we're promoting. It's really, really low. And most people say, oh, I don't like the low price tag because contrary to what Brian said, like people always cancel the smallest thing first. And sure, I've seen some people cancel, oh, I can't afford it right now, or it's just an added expense. I'm not using it to its max value. But that community piece, the people that are really in it, even if they're just using it once a week, once a month, if they get the community, they get, again, why this is priced the way it's priced and what value they're going to get, even if they only use it once a month, those people stick around. And the best part is, like, yeah, maybe my churn rate, people are leaving, but those people that really get it and really want it, they share. And that's what keeps the membership growing.
Right. I think with any membership, right, just whether it's a health club or a pool or whatever, there's going to be churn. That's part of the business. Not everyone who joins is going to stay. And there's going to be, just like on an email list, there's going to be a certain percentage of unsubscribes with every email you send. But the people who it is right for and who are going to be your raving fans anyway, they're going to stick. The ones who leave, they left for their own reasons, and that's perfectly fine because now it leaves more room for those who want to be here and want to be the raving fans. So I'm glad you mentioned that in terms of retention and your churn rate. Do you have any specific things that you actively do to reduce churn, or is it just a matter of if you're doing the right thing in your heart that would be true for your business, the right people will come and the right people will stay?
Yeah. So when someone cancels, obviously we ask them why. So we're always looking for feedback. I think my assistant has a canned reply that says, Liz always wants to hear why we've already canceled your membership. So we don't do that like, oh, well, we'll pause it. It's $9. If you want to go, it's easy to come back. Like, babe, I'm not going to twist your arm. But I do actively look at that feedback at least once a month. And I do adjust if it's, over and over and over again, I see something. For example, at the beginning of 2024, I remember for about 6 months, oh, your site is it's kind of clunky. I don't get it, despite my best efforts to get everyone on the same page. So I said, okay, clearly we need to upgrade. The software isn't working the way it used to. And we created an entirely brand new site. And now I've hired someone to manage that site for us. And so that is a great way as your membership grows to, hey, how is this site working for you? Or what are you using and what are you not using, right? I realized that my Q&A was only 60 minutes, but as the membership grew, I had a lot of varying questions. Some people were beginners, some people were advanced. And so the Q&A, I actually expanded it to 90 minutes. I started spending more time in the Facebook group because people wanted to hear more from me. And I don't take client work, so what the heck else am I doing? Nothing, right? And so I am actively always listening to feedback and tweaking the membership for that. Another way I reduce churn is I have an annual rate. I launch usually about 3 times a year. And if you buy for a year, it's $108. I don't give you any kind of crazy discount. 9 times 12, 108. Very simple, right? Seems to be a theme here. Mm-hmm. But when you buy for a year, you get all my other products for free. You literally don't have to buy anything else from me for an entire year. And that has significantly reduced my churn. I'm not saying it's the offer for everyone, but having a bonus like that, it increases my income, right? It makes it, oh, I know this person is going to work within my membership for a year. They're going to see results because email marketing, it's not a one and done thing. Brian said over and over for the last 45 minutes, consistency, consistency, consistency. So now I know my customers are going to be consistent because they've signed up for a year. I'm going to have a lot of testimonials at the end of this year. Sure, I got to give them some other products, but I like promoting my membership anyway. So now this is just a reward.
Absolutely. And since all of this is tech-based, what are tech stack? What do you use to manage I know you said your community's on Facebook, but what do you use for your membership or your LMS, your learning management system? And it sounds like everything is based on a website that you have a manager that manages. What does your stack look like?
Yeah, I love this question. Can I go through the evolution? I promise I'll go quick because it's so simple. So at first, it was just Google Drive, right? That was it. I made video walkthroughs on loom.com. It's a Chrome extension, super simple, where I'd walk you through the Google Doc, right? Then we moved to a very simple plugin. I don't even remember what it was. My website's on WordPress. It was just all these plugins were free and it would just create a user. I did add Zapier. So it would zap you when you purchase to create a user within WordPress, give you a password, all of that. And literally all the templates were just unlisted blog posts that if you had that login, they would appear for you. Very, very simple. Now we do use an LMS. Is that what it's called? Learning Management System, right? Yeah. We use Lifter. That was the recommendation of the person I hired. So we use Lifter LMS. It's pretty simple. It's on its own website now. So instead of being on lizwilcox.com, it has its own emailmarketingmembership.com login. And that's it. And I think the person I hired to manage it, so she inputs the content and everything from Google. I still write it in Google Drive. I think she cost me $300 or $400 USD a month. So not a lot of tech.
Wow. Okay. And that's why I wanted to ask, because the tech can either be very simple or very difficult, depending on the way you go about it. And selfishly, I was curious because when I launched my first digital product last year, I used ThriveCart. But the great part about that, and probably the big reason I bought it, besides being recommended from a lot of friends in the industry, was that it was a one-time purchase of like $495 lifetime
Oh my
license.
gosh, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use ThriveCart as well. So my cart is ThriveCart.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so you purchase off ThriveCart and it connects with Lifter on my WordPress site. and creates a username, password. And then, of course, I have ConvertKit is what I use to email people. And so all my emails come from ConvertKit. We won't get into like the digital reasons why you should have one email, like one service provider. But so those three do talk to each other. But the membership itself is so incredibly simple. And even Lifter, something I'm debating in the future, Lifter can be your cart also. So it can and will take payments. But I don't know if I'm ready to get off of Thrivecart quite yet.
Understandable. I'm not ready to get off of them, nor do I have a reason yet. But
right.
All right. Well, I want to make sure I honor your time here. I've got just a couple questions I want to round out with. The first one has just been sitting at the top of my brain this whole time. I know why your program is priced the way it is, but why $9? Why not $19 or $29 or $33? What was it about $9 that had you settle on that specific
I love
number?
this question. It was under $10. And I just remember when I started to pay for something felt really hard. I wasn't making any money. I had just got my master's degree. I just had a baby. So I wasn't back at work yet. And to ask my then husband, hey, who thinks I'm being scammed for money was incredibly difficult. And so I thought, well, but if it was me, if it was under $10, I'd probably buy it without talking to that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, under $10 just felt like something that even if I was hesitating, I would probably give it a shot anyway, because I blow $9 at the grocery store anytime I drive out of my parking lot.
Yeah. Well, so you heard it here first, ladies and gents. If you want to make a secretive purchase that can really brighten your future and lead to massive things for you and your business, Liz Wilcox is your gal.
That is hysterical. That's the best pitch for the membership. Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
I love it. All right, I've got one last question, and that is for our listeners out there who are either aspiring entrepreneurs or early stage entrepreneurs, maybe they're in the thick of it. Whoever is out there, I want to hear if there is one piece of advice that you could distill from your years in entrepreneurship for those that are maybe just kicking it off. What would that one piece be?
Yeah. So I just always ask myself two questions whenever I have to make my next move, right? Whenever you're contemplating a decision, just ask yourself two questions. Number one, what would this look like if it was easy? We complicate things so much, but asking yourself, what would it look like if it was easy is going to make your mind start to think a little differently. Now, we've got a backup question because sometimes like that just ain't easy. We all know it. So I want you, if you're struggling with that first question, ask yourself, what would it look like if this was fun? And between the two of those questions, I think you're going to come up with something that's doable, approachable, and it's going to get you going.
And there's a good chance that might be a membership.
Possibly. It was for me.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, Liz, thank you so much. This was awesome. I think this is some incredible information and obviously a living example of the possibilities of creating something that is accessible to just about everybody and provides immense value on the back end. Where can our listeners, where can they find you? How can they connect? How can they find the group and the membership if they're interested in it? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Of course, I'm an email marketer. I would love for you to join my email list. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, there's a hot pink button. You can't miss it. It's going to give you a welcome sequence. It's also going to give you 3 newsletter samples directly from the membership. So you don't even have to give me $9 today. One that's going to show you how to get people to click, another how to get people to reply, and a third how to get people to buy directly from your newsletter. It's also going to give you 52 subject lines for a year full of prompts. All of that's for free. lizwilcox.com, hot pink button. And if you're interested in just checking out the membership, there's something on the website banner for that too.
All right. Fantastic. Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Go check out Liz at lizwilcox.com. Hop on her email list and go change your life and change your business today. Liz, thank you again. This was an awesome, awesome pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, a big thank you to Liz Wilcox for dropping by and sharing her knowledge with us regarding her $500,000 a year business running off of $9 per month memberships. She really blew the doors off of what's possible when it comes to running a membership group, sharing valuable knowledge or information or skills that you may possess. Those you may recall in one of our past episodes with Vincent Puglisi, we talked about this as well, and that the type of lifestyle business a membership can offer you. It's an incredible way to still make great money, but also live the life you want to live and do it on your terms. So again, thank you to Liz for stopping by. Just a fountain of knowledge and a wealth of information. And best of luck to her moving forward with her membership and hitting that 10,000 member mark. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. Before I leave, 2 quick favors. As usual, if you enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and hit the link button in your pod player and send this via text message to your best friend, your colleague, coworker, whoever it might be. If you think they'll enjoy this episode, we want to have them hear it too. And number 2, I want to put in a little tease for MU, Millionaire University's first foundational course. We have it in development, folks. Delivery date TBD. But if you've been following us for some time, or maybe if you're new around here and you want to start learning a bit more about getting your business built, we're going to have that for you, and it's coming down the pike. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Brian Guerin signing off. I cannot wait to see you on the next episode of the Millionaire University podcast. Go out there and keep crushing it today.